Welcome back, movie lovers. Today on Rocky Watches Movies, we're diving deep into the controversial and thought-provoking world of Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. Released in 1971, this film shocked audiences with its disturbing content, ultra-violence, and dark satire, earning a place in cinematic history as one of the most iconic yet polarizing films ever made. While most of us are familiar with its disturbing visuals and social commentary, there are loads of hidden details and behind-the-scenes stories that even the biggest fans might not know. So let's jump into 20 things you never knew about A Clockwork Orange. Stanley Kubrick wasn't immediately sold on adapting Anthony Burgess's novel. In fact, when he first read it, he disliked the book, particularly due to the Nadsat language, a mix of Russian and Cockney rhyming slang that Burgess invented for the teenage characters. This confusion over the unfamiliar language made Kubrick hesitant. However, after his plans to make a biopic about Napoleon fell through, Kubrick revisited the novel. It was only then that he saw the potential of Alex as a character, a modern Richard III type, whose charismatic evil could captivate audiences. Though there were other directors considered for the project, like Ken Russell and John Schlesinger, Kubrick was the one to finally take it on, and when he did, he had only one actor in mind for the role of Alex, Malcolm McDowell. Kubrick had been impressed with McDowell's performance in If, where he played a rebellious and violent schoolboy, and felt that McDowell could bring the same energy to Alex. Apparently McDowell never even had to audition, and Kubrick was so set on him that he said that if McDowell refused, the film would not have been made at all. When offered the part, Malcolm McDowell mistakenly thought he was meeting Stanley Kramer, the director of films like Judgment at Nuremberg. It wasn't until McDowell's director friend Lindsay Anderson showed him Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey that McDowell realised the monumental opportunity he had been given. Kubrick ended up warming to the novel so much that his screenplay was practically a direct copy of it. The dialogue, characterizations, and scenes closely mirrored Burgess's writing. But there were some differences, with a few of the biggest being the age of the rape victim in the book is just 10 years old, and so are the two girls Alex meets in the record shop. In the film, they are all changed to young women. Another one is that Georgie died in a failed robbery in the book version, but this wasn't in the film. Also in the book, Alex commits another murder while in prison, and the ending is also different. When it comes to the ending, the original British edition of the novel included an extra chapter, Chapter 21, that was omitted from the American version. In this chapter, Alex grows up and his desire for violence begins to wane. He comes to the realisation that it's time to settle down, find a job and start a family, though he thinks his kids might end up on a similar path to his own. Apparently the reason for this omission in the US version was that the American publisher wanted a darker, more sinister ending, as did Kubrick. The film also omits this chapter, and we leave thinking Alex has gone back on his conditioning and he isn't really cured. Kubrick was known for his attention to detail and often included hidden references in his films. In A Clockwork Orange, Alex is portrayed as a symbol of deviance and corruption. This is subtly reinforced in one scene where he's led off by Georgie and Dim, who are now police officers. The numbers on their uniforms are 665 and 667. The implication is that Alex is 666, the mark of the beast. After the costly production of 2001 A Space Odyssey, Kubrick was determined to prove he could make a lower-budget film. He shot most of the film on location in and around London, using existing buildings like the Thamesmead housing estate for Alex's apartment block. Only 3 sets were built: the Corova Milk Bar, the prison check-in area, and the writer's bathroom. All these sets were created in a disused factory near Borehamwood, Hertfordshire, a location conveniently close to Kubrick's home. The iconic look of Alex's Droog outfit, white overalls, combat boots and a jockstrap worn outside his trousers came about thanks to Malcolm McDowell. When he turned up for a costume fitting, he brought along his cricket gear, including a protective cup. Kubrick liked the surreal and unsettling look, and asked him to wear the jockstrap over his trousers, contributing to the costume's distinctive and slightly absurd style. If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe to the channel would be cooler than wearing a jockstrap on the outside. One of the most famous scenes in the film, where Alex gleefully sings Singing in the Rain while violently assaulting a couple, was largely improvised. During rehearsal, Kubrick felt the scene wasn't working and asked McDowell to do something spontaneous. He started humming and eventually burst into Singing in the Rain. Kubrick loved the contrast between the cheerful song and the brutal violence and bought the rights to the song immediately. McDowell later said that the idea worked because Singing in the Rain represents pure happiness, which was exactly what Alex was feeling during his violent spree. The scenes where Alex undergoes the Ludovico technique, forced to watch violent films with his eyes clamped open, are among the most disturbing in the movie. To ensure McDowell's safety, Kubrick had an actual doctor on set from Moorfields Eye Hospital to administer eye drops and make sure his corneas didn't dry out. Initially, the doctor was supposed to stay off-screen, but eventually Kubrick decided to include him in that scene because McDowell needed constant drops to prevent injury. But even with the doctor present, McDowell wasn't spared. During the scene, he damaged his cornea anyway. He ended up having to take a few days off for them to heal. This unfortunately happened again when getting another shot at the end of production, but thankfully not as serious. In one of the film's more absurd moments, a scene involving Alex having fast-motion sex with two women from the record shop was originally shot in real time but later sped up, obviously. Kubrick used a fast-motion technique to ensure the scene wouldn't be flagged for explicit content by censors. Even so, the fast-paced sequence still contributed to the film's X rating, as apparently the censors feared this trick might inspire adult filmmakers to use similar loopholes. David Prowse, who would go on to become the man inside Darth Vader's suit in Star Wars, appears in A Clockwork Orange as the muscular bodyguard Julian. During filming, Prowse had to carry the actor portraying the writer and his wheelchair in one take. The weight and strain was so extreme that Prowse wanted the number of takes limited, and to everyone's surprise, Kubrick agreed. In the 1970s, A Clockwork Orange was accused of inspiring several violent crimes in the UK, leading to widespread calls for the film to be banned. While Kubrick initially resisted, he eventually requested Warner Brothers to withdraw the film from UK cinemas after receiving personal death threats. These threats, made during the filming of Barry Lyndon, specifically targeted his family. Kubrick's withdrawal of the film meant it was unavailable in the UK for nearly 30 years, only being re-released after his death in 1999. Despite the controversy surrounding its graphic content, A Clockwork Orange was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It remains one of only 2 X-rated films ever to be nominated for Best Picture, alongside Midnight Cowboy, which actually won in 1970. Clockwork became the first major film to use Dolby Noise Reduction, a sound technology that helped reduce background noise and improve audio clarity. It was also among the first films to use radio microphones to record dialogue live on set, eliminating the need for post-production dubbing. Kubrick often reused certain motifs in his films, one of which was the code CRM114. First appearing in Dr. Strangelove as a fictional radio device, it reappears in A Clockwork Orange as Serum 114, the drug used in Alex's rehabilitation. It has been used in other Kubrick films, including Eyes Wide Shut, as well as some non-Kubrick films too, like Back to the Future and Men in Black 3. The legendary composer Ennio Morricone, known for his iconic film scores, was approached to work on the film. When Kubrick reached out, Morricone regretfully declined, citing his commitment to another project at the time. He was working on Duck, You Sucker around that period, but later admitted that his schedule wasn't as packed as he had indicated. Morricone confessed that turning down the opportunity to collaborate with Kubrick was one of the greatest regrets of his career. Before Kubrick took on the project, Frank Sinatra's production partner, Brad Dexter, had presented A Clockwork Orange as a possible starring vehicle for Sinatra. However, Old Blue Eyes passed on the opportunity, feeling that the novel's strange language and themes wouldn't work on screen. While the novel never reveals Alex's last name, Malcolm McDowell decided to give his character the surname DeLarge. This was inspired by a line in the novel where Alex refers to himself as Alexander the Large, a title fitting for his egotistical and dominating personality. And there you have it, folks. Now you know a little bit more about A Clockwork Orange. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.